Well, good morning. Welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith, and how are you all today? Welcome to all the new people, by the way, who have found us over on Rumble. If you're watching us on YouTube, and that's great, I'll keep putting up on YouTube, but I also put up a mirror site on Rumble, so everything that goes up on YouTube also goes up on Rumble, just in case they want to play their funny business with me again in the future. A Navy SEAL has seen the light. I was doing some work early this morning, and I ran upon an article. Was it an article? I think it was an article. And if I will put this up over on the Patreon channel, so you all can read it if I can find it. Go back. I've got loads of stuff on the computer, so sometimes I say, let me go find that thing, and then I can't find it. But if I can find it, I'll put it up over there. And it was an interview. Rob O'Neill. Is it Rod or Rob? I think it's Rob. Rob O'Neill, who is the former SEAL who says that he killed bin Laden. And I was particular with the way that I said that. He has seen the light. Now, I've never been a particular fan of O'Neill. Don't know him. Don't have anything particularly against him. But I don't like all the guys who talk about everything that they did. I come from a time you just didn't talk about it. 40 years later, I still don't talk about it, and neither does anybody else of my day. And I just don't get the writing the books and doing all the interviews and making all the claims about, woo, look at me, look what I did. If you did something covert or clandestine, it's supposed to stay that way. I mean, for crying out loud. I understand they're making a lot of money off of this stuff, but you know, if you can be bought by money, there's a word for that. So anyway, Mr. O'Neill says that he's been upset. He's gotten upset when he found out about this this tranny. Is that the proper word for it? Transgender or what is the difference between a transvestite and a transgender? Is it just that one? Does a transvestite just like to dress up like women, or do they really think about themselves as a woman, or what's I don't know. I don't know. So you know, it doesn't matter. That's really not the subject of this. The subject is that O'Neill apparently got all upset when he found out that the Navy was using a trans whatever sailor to give drag shows on a ship, and to use him as a recruiting tool. You know, diverse, open to everything. You know, when you're diverse and open to everything, you ain't very special. And he made this statement, and I might not quote him exactly right, but I will use the vulgarity that he used. He says, "I can't believe I served my country and fought for this bullshit." I don't usually use that language on my videos, but I'm quoting him. Now, in this, he's exactly right, but I want to say this because this leads into a larger lesson that I'm familiar with. Well, Rob and anybody else that's seeing this, I'm glad that you're finally seeing the light. This is not new. This is not new. Years ago. Now, maybe I should put it this way. I went into law enforcement in the 70s, and it didn't take me long to see that what I, from the outside, had thought was really, you know, cool and to be respected and held up. You go to get into the internals of any organization, probably. Well, I would say almost any. And you're going to see how the sausage is made, right? It didn't take me long to see that there was a whole bunch of stuff inside of that system that wasn't honorable, and I hated it. I was disappointed. I stayed in it for a number of years. I got to do a lot of cool stuff. I learned a lot of cool stuff. The government, you all sent me to a lot of cool schools. It was exciting. I stayed in it for the excitement, but it took me a while. But eventually I realized that I was just serving a monster that I didn't believe in. And that's what so many people are now discovering in the military. I want to send a message to any of the young guys who are thinking about going in the military. Don't. This is insane. If you're going into the military or law enforcement for that matter, thinking that you are serving a higher purpose than yourself, and this is the way that it's sold, serve, be a part of something bigger than you. Serve something bigger than you. Well, let me tell you, if you think that serving a corrupt system is something that's to be held up and honored, you're sadly mistaken. There are a couple of things bigger than you. God and your family, okay, and your friends, perhaps your community. But it's certainly not a corrupt system that takes young men and women now, brings them in under false pretenses of some kind of patriotism and service to something bigger than themselves, puts them through a grinder, and then mistreats them, misleads them, and then spews them back into a world, many of whom have a difficult time coming back out into normal life and having any kind of normal life. I have a lot of friends who have got back when 9/11, that was their last big recruiting effort, 9/11. I had friends of mine who went back into special forces, had been out because they had become disgusted with the system. But this really drew them. This invigorated them. They attacked us. They attacked America. We got to go, and they went back in. And then I had a lot of students of mine, martial arts students, who joined up because they attacked America, and we're all Americans now. We have to go defend our country. And they did, and most of them came back screwed up, unappreciated, will never be able to have a decent, regular life at all. And these were fine people when they went in, and they came out very damaged people. This is the truth of what they're trying to sell you young guys. Don't fall for it. Now, for everybody else, stop holding up the military as something that's almost holy. It's not. It is not. This idea that whoever served in the military is something special, it's just not true. Some of them are special, but that's because of who they are, not because they put on a uniform and did what they were told for a number of years, okay? It's just like law enforcement. Not everybody's a hero. Very few people are heroes. Most people go in and do what they're told, okay? And if they do what they're told by a corrupt system, that makes them a tool of corruption. Stop the fantasizing and the irresponsible hero worship of this type of thing. I'll tell you what the world needs more of. Well, let me back up and say this. So we went over there and we spent billions of dollars in the Middle East and lost so many people and screwed up so many more, and then sacrificed, and you know who I'm talking about, if you know, actively sacrificed some of our people who we sold them on this idea that they were special and they were going to go and defend America and all that. And what's the difference? What is Iraq now compared to what it was when we went in? What is Afghanistan now compared to when we went in, except better armed since we left all our equipment over there? Is it any different? What's Vietnam? Since we sacrificed 50,000 American guys over there, and many more than that were screwed up physically, mentally, and emotionally ever since then. What's different about it than if we hadn't gone? Guys, it's all about money. Let me tell you what we need more of. First, let me tell you what we need less of. We need less of the people who are willing to jump on the bandwagon and say, be all you can be. It's not a job, it's an adventure. All these little catchphrases that they like to use to grab those young people who don't know any better and make them think they're going to be a part of something special and bigger than themselves. More and more of the guys who have been in are realizing this. They're coming out and they're saying, I wouldn't do it again. I wished I hadn't done it. Now, a lot of times that's difficult to say because, we look back on the experiences that we had, the training that we had, the excitement that we had, and there is something there that appeals to certain types of personalities. But I'll tell you what, the world needs less of those kind of people who will go into a grinder and do what they're told for a corrupt system. And what we need more of is people who will understand the importance of being a good person, a good father, raising children, being home. I have so many friends who the world holds up as heroes. Their personal lives, their family lives are a mess. Just a rotten, stinking mess. Ask their children who didn't know Dad, except, they saw his picture there in his uniform. And occasionally he'd come home and then, they grew up without a dad who was in the house that they could walk over to in his chair and say, Dad, I got a problem. Well, I'm sorry, son, but the country has a bigger problem. The country, see, this is what's being said. The country is more important than you. These corrupt political leaders are more important than your problems growing up. You can do it. You can do it without a father. Just be tough. That's disgusting to me. That is disgusting to me. We need to change the way so many people in this society think. Stop glorifying the violence. Stop glorifying the military and law enforcement. Yes, we do need law enforcement. We don't need a military around the world poking our nose into places we have no business being. And I am fully aware of the argument, well, but if we are not over there, they'll come over here. BS. That is the spiel they've used since World War I to get us into these things. Yeah, we do need law enforcement. So if you want to serve here. Serve here. Join a police department or a sheriff department or whatever you want to do and serve in your community, helping your community, and then you're going to be home at night when little Johnny needs to talk to you. Okay. Guess what? Talking to your father solves so many more problems than looking at his picture in his uniform. I'm glad that O'Neill finally realized that this was a bunch of BS and that the motives and the agenda of the higher-ups are never what you think they are. Never. They will use you They will sacrifice you, they will grind you up, and then they will not take care of you. And you shouldn't need them to take care of you anyway. So as you young guys are coming into that time of your life when you're starting to think about what would be exciting to do, how about if you don't give yourself over to somebody else? You don't make yourself a slave. You don't allow a system that you don't understand and wouldn't agree with if you did understand it to tell you what to do every minute of your life, and just go along happily doing what you're told under some false idea that you're going to be a hero and are serving something larger than yourself. You're not. Serve what truly is larger than yourself. Serve God. Serve your family. Be a positive influence in your community. This country is falling apart because we don't have the strong people here standing up against what's wrong and standing up for what's right. And that's the best way to do it. You want to be a hero? Raise your kids. Be there every day for them. Be the solid example that they should strive to be like. You're not squared away? Square yourself away. Weren't raised by a good dad? Find somebody else to get advice from. Look up to an older man that you can see he did it right. Emulate him. Okay? You don't need some stranger in a uniform screaming in your face to make you a man. That's not making you a man. A man is one who lives up and satisfies the responsibility of manhood, of leading a family, providing, protecting, loving, and leading. Our country has fallen apart because it has lacked those people who will do that. Now, I know I'm talking mostly about men here, but I mean the same thing for you ladies. To run off and try to be a hero for some ridiculous idea is really running away from the primary responsibilities of manhood. So, I'm glad that O'Neill saw that this was BS. I know a lot of other guys are. But how does this apply to what we usually talk about on this channel? Because if we had held up the idea of the importance of manhood, of family, of community, of the foundational principles on which our country was based and which our families should be based, we wouldn't be in the lousy, stinking situation we're in now. So, that's my message for today. Remember, America needs a reversion and needs you to be a part of it. Doesn't need anybody to be over there fighting in some, halfway across the world, getting screwed up. It needs everybody doing their best here in this country. Y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.